Bizarro world again for the markets. Retail sales come out pretty poor. Not that poor, but worse than expected, and the stock market roars ahead, and the bond market as well. So stick around for the video. I'll explain why and talk about that a bit and go into some other stuff as well. Good morning. Today is Thursday, February 15th. I hope you're all doing well. My name's Adam Kahn, and I'm the Rational Investor. So, retail sales came out today and they were worse than expected, yet the stock market, last I looked, the Dow was up 300 points. S&P and Nasdaq are also up strong. But before I get into why that's going on, if you guys could do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button. I really appreciate the support. As you guys know, that helps YouTube's algorithm, and if you're enjoying the information, it helps other people find the video as well. So, why would the stock market go up if retail sales come out not so great? Essentially that means stores like Target, Walmart, and the like aren't selling as many products as they were previously. Well, the reason the stock market and the bond market like it is it makes it more likely that the Fed will be able to cut rates going forward. Now, I still stand by what I've said in some other videos, which is I'd rather see strong sales. I'd rather see a good economy. I think that's short run, that cutting rates actually helps the markets, especially if it's news about sales being not as good. But to be fair, my guess is with the higher margins because of the inflation that the stores are getting, it's okay that they're getting lower sales. Otherwise, you'd see those stocks falling off precipitously. The only stocks I see down today are ones that are running into an issue with New York City and a lawsuit that they're putting against them. Google seems to be struggling a bit, but from my standpoint, that might create a good opportunity to buy some of it. Now, always, like always, this is not financial advice. I'm just a guy on YouTube sharing the things that work for me. You guys need to make your own decisions when making financial choices for your lives. Um, but the markets roar forward. Retail sales are worse. Bond market, you see yields drop, which means prices go higher for the same reason. Makes a lot more sense in the bond market than it does to me in the stock market. The reality is, I think no matter what data is coming out, the trend of the stock market and the equity seems to be higher. I think anytime you see pullbacks is good opportunities to be getting lower. I really think what's happened is when the market fell a little while back at the end of last year, um, and the year before even, is it created opportunity where people got scared and they got out of the stock market and they moved into treasuries, high yield savings accounts, and things like that. I hear more and more friends talk about the 4.5% or 4.75% savings account that they got into as opposed to putting their money into stocks and things like that where they used to. I think there's a lot of money in those accounts. And I think what happens is the markets are emotional too. And the market's going to have to go significantly higher for a long amount of time to start drawing that money back out of those accounts and back into the stock market. Just like any market, it tends to have to go higher to actually get people to buy. It's almost, people make comments about the stock market's one of the few places where when things go on sale, people run for the hills. It's really true. And the opposite end of that is also true. Until the things go higher and they have this fear of missing out, and they don't have it yet, despite a lot of those videos. It really has to go a lot higher before that fear comes in and they start putting the cash that's getting the 4.75 back into the stock market. The other thing is, I think by the time that happens, you're going to see rates lower, so they're not going to be getting the same offers for that type of return. The interesting thing is the one that I love, which is real estate. I think what we're going to see is people get more and more comfortable with higher mortgage rates and just kind of get used to it the same way we've gotten used to the cost of a pizza or the price of a dozen eggs or whatever it is, that as much as we complain, the higher prices seem to have flowed through and we recognize that they're there. My guess is you'll see the housing market continue to drift higher at a slow rate like it used to when I was younger, and the mortgage rates come down rather slowly if they even come down at all. I mean, they'll ebb and flow, but I think when people see the market in the sixes, they're getting more and more used to it. And people are picking their heads up and beginning to look at properties again. Fortunately, I see that in the mortgage side of things, which I do for as well. Now, I'm anticipating tomorrow's PPI number. I think that's more important for what the Fed looks at in terms of inflation. So I'll be excited to see if it comes in soft. Unlike the CPI number, that's what I'm actually hoping for. CPI, I was hoping would come in hot. And you'd see the market do what it's done over the past few days, but I was hoping it would do it in one day. I was hoping that the initial reaction would be the stock market falling and then going back up. It fell, and over the past few days seems to be coming back up. Now, I'm hoping when PPI comes out tomorrow morning before the open, that if it comes out soft and you just see the stock market continue to drive higher from there. I am excited to see where Coinbase's earnings come out today. I'm not super concerned about the actual earnings, but I want to see what the questions they answer and what the guidance looks like. I saw some questions on CNBC that me as somebody who, Bitcoin's back up to 52,000 now and seems really strong, and very few people are talking about crypto anymore, which is what I like. I like seeing markets drift in a direction and nobody really paying attention, because by the time people are talking about it, I'm guessing it's going to be making new highs and possibly even pushing 100,000 or higher. Um, but one of the questions they were talking about that the people at Coinbase are going to have to answer is, with the new ETFs out, how is that going to impact it? Like, why would anybody go to Coinbase? Well, I'll tell you what, as somebody who likes crypto, I am so not interested in the ETFs. I am interested in the crypto and owning it directly. I would way rather buy Bitcoin than invest in a Bitcoin ETF that's traded on the stock market. I understand that some people are more comfortable with that. But for me, if I'm buying crypto, I want to actually own the crypto. And not only do I want to own the crypto, I want to throw it on a thumb drive and throw it in a safe deposit box so I don't worry about it at all. Like that's what I want to do with the crypto that I have. I don't want to buy some ETF that represents crypto and what deal with whatever that is. Like, I don't even know what it is that they're buying, what they hold, like, it makes no sense to me that that's actually what people would want. It only makes sense to me that that's what people would want who aren't comfortable going on to Coinbase and buying what they want to buy, or other sites. The interesting thing to me about Coinbase, it's one of those stocks that I've put in the vault to forget about. Now, I put in a small enough amount because it's super volatile and it bounces around a lot. But what I like about them is it seems like after the government went after Sam Bankman-Fried and his company, they then went after Binance, and my guess is they might even go after Kraken as well and try to make Coinbase the market that people can go to. They might penalize them, but I have a feeling they'll just put regulations in place and put them in a position that they're the one. Like, that's what I like about Coinbase. Now, obviously, I might be wrong about that, just like I'm wrong about a lot of things, but I'm still comfortable making my bets and seeing if I'm right. I've been amazed to see how far it was below 120 either this week or last week. In anticipation of the earnings, it was up at above 170 this morning. So I'm actually hoping that whatever the news is, it falls back down and creates an opportunity where maybe I can buy a little bit more. If it just shoots right up, I'm glad I have the little bit I have. I was watching a video yesterday by Travis Spencer, who does real estate mindset. And I really like Travis. I think he's great. We just often have a difference of opinion on where we think markets are going. But I like his content. I like what he talks about. And I think he does a really good job. But I made some comment on it, and I think he took it the wrong way about people complaining. And I think he thought I meant him. And the reality is, I meant the people in the comment section, because I worry that when people start to just complain about it's the government's fault, it's the CEO's fault, it's all the wealthy people's fault, that causes them to get stuck in a rut. And I see a lot of comments kind of cheering on negativity. And the economy, the inflation is real. Forgive me, like blah blah blah. The inflation is real, so I understand the struggles. But I think complaining and blaming government and blaming CEOs and blaming greed and everything else causes people to get stuck where they are instead of doing their best to move forward. If it means getting a second job, if it means taking in roommates, if it means other things in order to do the best to save for your future, I think you really have to focus on saving for your future. The younger generation has a propensity to constantly complain and then go out and buy Starbucks and avocado toast. I don't mean to make fun, and I know a lot of you that isn't the case, but I also see a lot of people who complain and they're going out and spending monies in a way that, boy, I never would have done that when I was younger. When I was a kid, my mom would yell at us if the light was left on because electricity was expensive. We couldn't make phone calls out of our general area because long distance phone calls were expensive. A lot of things that just we've taken for granted because things got really inexpensive for a long time and we had such low inflation that we became a throwaway society. Well, the reality is, to me, what we're experiencing now is just more like what life was like as I grew up. This is not normal to me. What wasn't normal was how cheap things got. I think you have to pay better attention to the things you buy. Now, nobody likes that, including me. I wish things were cheap again. I wish we could go out to dinner every night or go on all the vacations and just never worry about it. But I also think that's what drove the inflation and made things unrealistic for everybody. And the reality is, the Fed doesn't have control of it. It is supply and demand. It's too few goods for too many people chasing it causes inflation. Well, that's settled down. Housing market, I guess we'll see. There's still a lack of inventory. And as people pick their heads up and get used to the market, I think we see it drive higher. And I'm sure bullish equities. And I think collectibles probably are making a bottom as well. So you might want to pick those up. Again, not financial advice. You need to make your own decisions. Anyway, don't forget, do me a favor, thumbs up, like, subscribe. Let me know what I should talk about if you have things you want me to address. I've got some of those SoFi options. They should expire this weekend, and we'll see where I go from there. I sold next week's $8 put as I've gotten excited that it's around 850-ish, which is where I was hoping it would just stick around so I could just keep selling options and picking up small amounts of premium on it and talking about it with you guys. So have a great rest of your day. We'll keep an eye what Coinbase does today and maybe follow up on it tomorrow. And then tomorrow morning for sure, PPI comes out at 5:30 in the morning for me. I'll for sure be up watching it, and then we'll see how the markets react. I'm excited for it. So again, subscribe, like, have a great day, make your comments, tell me what you guys think.